Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Monday edition of Moohead Radio. I'm your host, a big and furry bovine. Ah, boy, I'm just glad it's not Sunday again. But as the,
Sunday.
as Sunday, thrilled to Kevin Stefanski's worst decisions yet. At any rate, there's got to be a morning after. There's always the Monday show, but I'd like to tell you,
McGovern.
Yeah, exactly. I'd like to tell you that the Monday show is going to be a kinder, nicer show than the post-game show was, and maybe the tone of it will, but the message is even more definitive today than what it was yesterday. And I think that a number of things are happening. I find that the Browns fan base is more disgruntled now than ever. I can see the desperation of some of the, the 92.3 people, the Northeast Ohio people, trying to do what I do, but they can't say Kevin Stefanski can lick my ball sack. They can't say that.
They can't say that.
Right.
For various reasons.
So what we're getting are a lot of, well, let's pick on Shador kinds of things. And, trying to get a rise out of the fan base that way to try to attract interest. Everybody who listens to this program knows that I'm only into the team making wise enough decisions and letting things fall as they will. I don't sit there and say, we got to win a championship but obviously the types of seasons that the Browns have been having, they're just not good enough. And I think that's pretty obvious to anybody who has half a brain, let alone a full brain. I'm going to start out the program today as I often do, which is sharing a screen that will show some. Let's see what we have here. Why is it?
While you're doing that, can I make a quick comment about yesterday's show?
Yep.
Well, the key point of the hour and 30-minute marathon, I thought, was when you actually pleaded for a player or a Cleveland Browns hidden insider to talk to you on the very quiet to find out what really is going on with Stefanski and, have they lost the team and what are they exactly doing? And my God, I hope somebody does reach out and they would definitely have anonymity because you're a man of much cow character and would never divulge.
No, I wouldn't do that, but see, I don't need it now.
So there's been an update from yesterday.
Kind of. And I'll get into it now. This is the press conference, and I don't want to run through the whole thing, but when you hear just the beginning of it, you'll get an idea of where this is going. And this should be on stage and ready to roll. So let's go ahead and play it.
Injury front, I think you guys have most of these, but Malik has a quad injury. We'll get imaging on that. We have to play complimentary football to have a chance versus a good football team. And they had a drive start on the 16 after a big punt return that led to a touchdown. They had a drive start on the 18 after a muffed punt that led to a.
Listen to how you're not going to believe this analysis that he's giving. All right. So he's going to use, we gave them a short field. Here we go.
Touchdown. They had a drive start on the 25 after a failed 4th and inches, led to a touchdown, a 4th and 1 on the plus 42, led to a field goal. So that's not the way to play a good team where you're giving them short fields. That's not the right. With our defense, we got to make them earn it, and I don't think we did that today.
With our defense, we got to make them earn it after you go for it in your own territory.
Yeah, he was to blame for that, wasn't he?
He's blaming the defense?
I think he's blaming short fields on circumstances beyond his control, apparently.
Well,
and
that's
he's the head coach.
and we'll get to that in a minute. But the thing that I can't believe, and I'm going to play this back because he's rattling
Start
this.
on the 18 after a muffed punt that led to a touchdown. They had a drive start on the 25 after a failed 4th and inches, led to a touchdown. A 4th and 1 on the plus 42 led to a field goal. So that's not the way to play a good team where you're giving them short fields. That's not the right. With our defense, we got to make them earn it, and I don't think we did that today. And that's on me to get it fixed. Listen, it's a good football team that you're facing, and guys fought their butts off, but just not enough, especially with some of the field position that we put them in. But
all right. First of all, the defense did play its butt off. Second of all, the advantages are all the things that only Kevin Stefanski could help with. In other words, we've been struggling with special teams all season long. And every week he says the same thing. We got to be better. We got to be better. But we always find a way to muff either tackling, catching the ball, running out of bounds with the ball, running into a pile of people instead of running where there's an opportunity to make a bigger play on kickoff returns. We haven't had a significant kickoff return the entire season when they've made the rules more liberal and easier. This is all on his watch. Now, before the show began, Bronk, it was basically saying, it would be nice if we had some kind of correspondence with somebody inside the organization to find out what players were really thinking and what was really going on. I can tell you that the firing process of Kevin Stefanski has already started. All right.
Okay.
And the reason I know this is because of the way things fall apart. And let me give you, and I'll give you some examples in a few minutes, but let me continue so that Kevin can continue to bury himself.
But with that, I'll take any questions.
Kevin, you had the 4th and 1 from your own 33, 10-8, 7 minutes left in the third.
They're going to lead with the 4th and 1. Yeah, and they have to do it. And here's Kevin.
The defense playing as well as it has, and the elements of that. Why go for it at that moment?
Felt good, Daniel. I think, there's always the obvious risk when you go for it in those situations. But if you feel good about the plays you have and your players, you feel good about converting on those distances.
Now, if a quarterback takes the riskier throw and throws an interception, he says it's unacceptable.
Yes.
But when he does it, it's okay. This is a narcissistic prick. But you're going to see now that players are not buying his shit anymore. And I'll get to that in a minute, but let him keep burying himself here.
Specifically, why specifically did you go? I guess, Tommy, why did you go for the sneak with Harold when you've been running the Wildcat, the jumbo packages as much as you have?
Yeah, it was just.
If you're having trouble understanding it, he's saying, why would you have selected that play to snap the ball directly to Fannin? Okay, which is what I was screaming about yesterday. So here's Kevin's response.
Felt good about the call. Didn't get it done.
Was there any confusion leading up to that?
I guess, Tommy, why did you go for the sneak with Harold when you've been running the Wildcat, the jumbo packages as much as you have?
Yeah, it was just felt good about the call. Didn't get it done.
Felt good about the call. That's because it was his call.
Totally.
What's it matter if he felt good about it? Tommy Rees didn't call the play, goddammit. He just admitted it.
Yeah.
He felt good about it. Of course he did. And look at his face. Look at him. This is a guy who's just stood up there and said, I felt really good about the call, but he's going to be pressed further about this.
Really? Wow.
Okay. Yep. And this is the other thing, it's when the press starts following up, and you know what it's kind of like?
Yeah, they're no longer on side now.
They're not
worried about-
afraid of him anymore.
Yeah, they're
or,
not worried about losing their privileges or losing access,
Right.
or losing whatever it is they lose. Yeah.
So here's what comes up next.
The confusion leading up to that seemed rush.
We had a couple guys in and out of the lineup due to injury, so that caused it. But we obviously lined up. It was a quick count, so knew that the play would get off.
Oh man,
I'm holding my head. I feel like I'm in the movie
I am
Scanners.
holding my head right now.
Yeah, the movie Scanners. My head's gonna blow up. I mean,
I'm actually holding my head. You know, you can't see it because I'm not on my phone.
He forgives himself for anything that he does wrong. He's a smug, arrogant prick. And I've worked for people like him, and I've seen them thrown into the fire.
Well, he looks like he's firing himself here.
Well, no,
I
he's
hope so.
going to eventually he has to go down on his shield. But I mean, to say I felt good about the play, and they say, well, wasn't there like player confusion before the snap? And he goes, well, we knew it was a quick snap play anyway. We could get it off. It's like there was confusion on the field. Why would you snap the ball on a fourth down deep in your own territory that just hands the ball to the other team? Oh, and he can sit there with a smug look on his face. That literally is the essence of him. Here we go.
Kevin, did you think that Shador built on his first start last week against the Raiders?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it, Mary Kay. Obviously, he's battling like all of our guys are battling. I know there's plays he wants back, but we'll look at it. We'll correct it.
But he doesn't want the play back that he called that lost the fucking game and gave away any momentum that his team had.
Wait a minute. What does he have to look back to? We all saw the game.
That's right.
He's meant to be a fucking expert. I mean, I'm not an expert, but I've seen thousands of football games. Tony the Calf's seen thousands of football games. You have.
Mhm.
I mean, what does he have to look back to?
Well,
Is some end zone camera going to give him the light? You know?
Well, we're gonna, and I'll go over what he's gonna find out. But he already knows. He can't
This is
really.
just irritating me.
You know, it's like America's favorite game show, Blame the Negro.
Wow.
He knows he can't get on that show. He can't do it. So he uses I got to look at it later, and then he never addresses it again. The fact of the matter is that Shador had nothing to do with any of what he decided to do to give the game away.
Shador was obviously the solution, and Kevin is the problem.
That's what it amounts to. Is we're seeing the same level of incompetence of players on the field, regardless of who's quarterbacking the team, whether it's Flacco, whether it's Gabriel, or whether it's Shador. It's the same thing.
Oh, I'll go farther and say that the team looks better with Shador out there than it did with Flacco earlier in the year.
And again, but the head scratching, bizarre play calling, and the self-defending himself in press conferences is getting weirder and weirder. And why does he feel the need to defend himself? Well, I think we'll go over that in just a minute.
Will you start him next week?
Yes.
So many injuries on the offensive line, guys in and out. How did that affect today?
It's just part of it, Jeff, with injuries. Don't like it, but it's just part of it.
Now, the offensive line after the game, and I'll play a little bit more of this press conference, but not much more.
Felt like you had success running the ball, but then on the short yardage, even before the 4th and 1 or 2nd and 2 or whatever, how disappointing, and why do you think it didn't work on those 4th and 1s?
Yeah, I'd have to look at it to give you a good answer, Scott, other than to say that they made a play. Felt good about the concepts that we had up, but they did a better job.
Was Wyatt dealing with an injury? And if not, why did you guys rotate him to Tevin?
Yeah, I rotated Tevin throughout the game. I wanted to see Tevin in this game. But, I obviously want to always get our guys as many reps as we can.
All right. So he wanted to get a look at Tevin Jenkins on the offensive line, and so he split the reps between Wyatt Teller and Tevin Jenkins. All right. And that's all I need to play of this, because he is so out of touch that it is, I don't even know how to explain the highest rated PFF ranking on our offensive line was Wyatt Teller.
Of course it would be.
He is, and afterwards, he had to tell the story because Wyatt Teller stepped forward and said he knew back on Tuesday that they were splitting the reps. And when they asked him why, his response was, well, it was something like, I wasn't playing good enough.
Yeah,
So now the line of veterans who protected Kevin Stefanski are going to come out one by one and criticize him because he is not locked into the job anymore. I can tell Browns fans with absolute certainty that this man will be fired at the end of the year because he doesn't. Well, at this point, what's he going to do? He's put Tommy Rees to allegedly call plays, but he still runs his stupid plays that he feels good about, and he can't get his fingers out of the pie. He's got to go. And we're seeing players doing things that are out of character, and they are falling apart in a way that follow his bad decisions. And he will not answer a question directly about Shedeur. Says, I'll have to look at this. But he never had a problem analyzing Dylan Gabriel, who he really loved. And David Talevsky's telling us that Teller has a calf injury now. Yeah, just like I had a heart attack last night. Nobody wants to play for this man anymore because he is denigrating the people who stood up for him all these years. And he's throwing them into the trash pile. So there you have that part of it.
I'm not going to predict one thing or the other. The only thing that concerns me is that what if Stefanski is actually doing what the ownership wants them to do, and also that they signed a mystery contract extension last year. I have no idea, nor do you, how many years that contract extension is for. Is he fucking the team up so that we get low draft picks until the dome is built? I'm tired of fucking asking this question, but that's what you do not make core decisions like not take the wind in the correct directions on the kickoff or not punt the ball on the 32-yard line when the game's only 2 points away and you still got 20 some minutes of clock time left. Is he losing on purpose?
No, he's a narcissist. He cannot self-analyze himself. He removes himself from all blame. Yeah,
then he's mentally ill.
As the leader of people, initially, that people would follow him in the battle, but people aren't so sure now. Here is Shedeur in his presser after the game.
Oh, look at that body language.
I feel like we'll be able to do what's necessary to get that result.
Shedeur, what did you see on those two 4th and 1s that didn't work? And did you like Kevin having the aggressiveness there, even backed up in your territory?
I mean, first, that's a rude question to ask. If I think it was a great call by my coach.
Do you like the aggression? Do you like the call? Do you like?
I like being out there playing.
Shedeur is a lot smarter than we think he is.
Shedeur is going up in my estimation each and every day, really.
But you see, what we are seeing is the rabid press now who are ready to jump on Kevin.
Yeah, they're cowards because they're suddenly not afraid.
The worms turned.
They're like hyenas,
Right.
The lion makes the kill, and then the weak, cowardly press come in like hyenas to get the scraps off of it.
You always know who's in the weak position by how many people are willing to speak out about it. And now, in a nicer way, maybe, they're starting to say some of the things that I've been saying for the last 2 years about Kevin Stefanski.
For years.
So there's nothing, but the interesting part of this is the press comes out and says to a guy who's played 2 football games in the pros, you kind of pissed off about those 4th and 1 calls.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, let's see if we can get something brewing here.
Poke the bear. Let's poke the bear a bit.
Yeah. And it's not cowardly. Even why ask him? He has nothing to do with it.
He is the solution. Don't bother him with it.
And and Shedeur goes on.
So whatever that comes with, it comes with. We're not gonna be here and ever point finger at no coach or do anything like that. That's extremely disrespectful, and that's not even in my place. So I'm thankful for being out there, honestly, and I'm thankful that he trusts us as an offense to be able to go out there and be able to execute. Did we execute? No, we didn't. But I'm just thankful that we have that trust.
All right, going to the beginning of this presser.
Good answer.
I'm decent right now.
Shedeur, just how frustrating for you guys to have the mistakes and the turnovers that you had in this game and not be able to play this team.
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. Doesn't feel at all good at all to be here in front of y'all, not on top, but it comes with it.
Shedeur, the pass to Jerry there, I think it was on the first series. Was that just a
bam? He's going to go right to the one incompletion down the field.
Yeah, his one bad play.
Yep, and listen to this.
I mean, wind catching it a little bit, and on top of that, how much did the wind kind of impact some of your throws you feel like today?
I would say overall, it's about spending time. It's about spending time in those situations and being able to gauge, so all quarterbacks know you got to cut through the wind whenever you throw. So then at the same time, you gauging the speed and time to distance and travel and everything. And I was just calculated off. That's all it was. It was just a miss. It was just a missed shot. So then,
all right. So he says it was a missed shot. He's not going to use the wind as an excuse. All right.
Yeah, he lacks the experience. I mean, what if Flacco overthrows a ball? Does somebody say to him like, "Oh, well, you've been throwing these balls for 20 years. Why did you miss it on that play?" It's just ridiculous. I'm getting irate.
Yeah. Now, to go one step further, this is where the fun part begins. The answer that he gave, and it was really interesting, is the way that he phrased it was kind of like, not the wind, but we got to be on the same page, Yeah. This takes time to work together and get acclimated to one another. And so with that in mind, I'm sure a lot of the people who are watching the program have seen this. I'm not sure if my co-hosts have seen this, but we'll see if we can put this thing up and
I think I know what you're going to put, and I chose not to watch it because it would make me irate.
Well, you can't live that way.
Oh, you can. 65 years of it.
Let's see if I'm. This should be.
If it is who I think it is.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and put this add to stage. All right.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be Jerry Judy arguing with Shador, and I didn't watch this.
This is what you call a classy way of saying "fuck the wind," and the wind was blowing. It did move the ball. I'm not going to use that as an excuse, but I will say that we've got to get on the same page, all of us, and we need to work together more. And there is no audio. It doesn't need audio. Shador's like, I can't talk to this guy. Ethan, could you step in and take this asshole away from me? Jerry Judy is causing hell. Yet it's Wyatt Teller who gets his snaps taken away from him. Now, what is the magic of Jerry Judy that he can just start up like this? And if first of all, a wide receiver shouldn't be sitting with the quarterback as far as the telestrator or, the little, whatever they call the little computer that they're looking at, the tablet.
The Microsoft.
He can sit there and say, I'm wide open. And it's like, yeah, we know you're wide open. But that doesn't mean anything. We know he was open, and we know Shador had him, but threw the ball into a 35 to 40 mile an hour wind. The ball moved from left to right as we were watching it, and it was incomplete. It would have been a beautiful thing. When he was throwing with the wind, he had no problem dropping it in the Fannin for a touchdown. But we're not talking about that with the press, because now the press sees everything is going haywire within the organization, and they're going to start screaming fire. And I don't mean fire Kevin Stefanski, but fire in the theater, fire,
Yeah.
And that's what's going to happen. And if we can find out what were those two really talking about, that's all the press is really doing. And it doesn't make sense, because they're looking for headlines, but they're not looking to educate in any way or to clarify what's happening with the organization. My job is not to get a goddamn headline. I don't care about headlines, but I know what's happening inside that building, because the players aren't getting along. The coaches are starting, going to tell one of their best offensive linemen that we're going to bring Tevin Jenkins in here, and we're going to give him, and actually Tevin Jenkins got 34 snaps to Teller's 31 snaps.
What was his ranking, PFA or whatever?
About 12, 13 points lower than Wyatt Teller's.
Okay.
About a 72 compared to an 85. But in the end, those are just statistics and just numbers. The thing that I find most interesting is that Jerry Judy is the receiver who has dropped the most passes, who has had a problem holding on to balls. He literally last week gave up field position by not trying and stopping playing in the middle of a play. I told you I don't trust him. I honestly think that he is a cancer on the team and the team needs to be rid of him and pay him. Go ahead and pay him, because he's a negative. I mean, there are times, I've fired people before who were cancers in my building, and literally I would catch them saying things that were just filling other people's heads with lies. And it's like, I'll pay you off for whatever I'm, whatever I'm due to pay you. Just leave. We're just better off without you. You don't need, with a lot of young, inexperienced receivers, the one guy mouthing off like this. There's no rhyme or reason.
It's a power play on the part of Judy's part. He thinks like, oh, I'm the big ass Alabama veteran, and I'm going to show you, you little punk, Oh, fuck off, William, whoever you are.
Hey, look, I'm not a star. Let's be real about this. I'm just an overweight Cleveland Browns football fan. I mean, no, there are no stars here. My goodness. If there's a star here, you'd see a lot more people.
It is unusual for somebody to come after me, but why not? You picked the wrong day for that.
It's like, I'm going to... Bronk, you're fired.
Well, you have kicked me off before when I've been unruly. That has happened over the years, but
oh my goodness, why do people say the things that they say? And so, I mean,
I think he's new here, or
she's nude. That would really be kind of creepy,
Well, yeah, party and Mooheads.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. So the other thing that the Cleveland Northeast Ohio media is doing is Shedeur really the quarterback that we need him to be? And nobody is saying, is Brock Purdy really going to be able to get the San Francisco 49ers deep into the playoffs? No. Nobody's asking that. Brock Purdy was 16 of 29 for 168 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 sack. He was sacked one time for 7 yards less.
Butt in and make a comparison here. I would say Brock Purdy looks no better than Baker Mayfield did in his final year in Cleveland, and he got turfed out of Cleveland.
Yeah, San Francisco, believe me, is not going to be.
They'll be looking for a new quarterback, San Francisco,
and they're not going to go deep into the playoffs. They're not that strong a team. I mean, I give Saleh all the credit in the world, and I did before the game too. I think that they have a sound defense, and they are very, very well coached. And so they don't make obvious glaring mistakes. But so 16 of 29 for 168 yards, and Shedeur was 16 of 25 for 149 yards with 1 touchdown and no picks. And he was sacked 3 times. So they basically, Shedeur completed a higher percentage of passes in the wind. And one guy was just quarterbacking a better team, flat out a better football team than the Cleveland Browns were. So, and so what do we take from this? It's like when you ask the question, how good is Shedeur really? And I'm starting to see weakness in him, and that's sports. Who is Sports Boy Tony? Not you, Tony, but on Cleveland Northeast Ohio radio. Who is that guy?
Oh, what the hell? God, he's with Ken Carmen in the mornings now.
Yes, he's with Carmen.
Tony, fuck me.
No,
that's not his last name.
Yeah,
Tony, fuck me. Tony.
Like something that would be like a mafia thing. Yeah, you mean Tony fucked me?
Tony fucked me, man.
Tony, it'll come.
Yeah, he's obviously very memorable.
Oh, Anthony Lima. Is Anthony Lima?
Anthony Lima, yeah, okay.
Or is it Lima or Lima?
Lima, whatever the fuck.
Yeah. Thank you, Earn Money Now 72. Thank you.
Put the Lima in the coconut and you drink it all up.
And yes, Rick May, you were a little slow on the buzzer this time.
Yeah, well, Rick May's old, though.
Coach Wilson, a little slow on the buzzer. But hey, thank you, everybody. I appreciate it. Guy's a bigot. My God. But, I mean, you got to come up with a better negative about a quarterback on a day like where they played. And I wanted to go a step further just to make a point that in case you're living in Northeast Ohio and you're listening to that program, and even Ken Carman was disgusted with what this guy was saying. Take a look at this game, which was the Buffalo Bills 26, the Pittsburgh Squealers 7. And you say to yourself, well, that was a dominant performance for the Bills, just like the 49ers whipped the Browns. And I wouldn't disagree, and neither would the Steelers. Josh Allen, who I think most people would say, oh, it's a Super Bowl quality quarterback, was playing in the same weather conditions just down the road. Everything was going in that direction anyway. High winds, rain, snow, the whole 9 yards. If you watched it on TV, you saw it. He was 15 of 23 for 123 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. All right.
There you go.
I mean, and that's Josh Allen, who has real honest to God receivers. The Steelers, Aaron Rodgers might as well have been Mr. Rogers in the neighborhood. He was 10 of 21. That's Dylan Gabriel-esque for 117 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Now, don't you think really that if you have Brock Purdy, Shedeur Sanders, Josh Allen, and Aaron Rodgers, you have one sage veteran in Rodgers, you've got a guy who's viewed as one of the top 3 QBs in the NFL. Yeah. You've got Brock Purdy, who was a surprise and who really did well.
Average NFL quarterback.
And has leveled out since his big start. And you have Shedeur, who has no experience. And statistically, Shedeur did better or identical in the same weather conditions when he's not played but 2 games. So anybody who's going to look at the statistics and try to play that card, don't even try. You don't have any foot to stand on. Wow. Yeah. So what Wyatt Teller actually said, Wyatt Teller said he knew early in the week that he would be rotating series with Tevin Jenkins. And said he wouldn't discuss injuries or much detail, but said the reason Stefanski made the move is, quote, along the lines of I wasn't playing well enough. I mean, he didn't have to explain that, but he wanted to go into a little detail anyway.
Wow.
So there's that. The Browns defense, Stefanski still found ways to say, well, our defense didn't keep him out of the end zone. It's like, I don't know. You handed the ball to him, you stupid fucker. And, there are statistics for the offense, and the offense really could never get anything going, but neither could they. Without the field position and the blunders, this could have gone on for a while before anybody did anything.
I predicted 5-3 on Friday, and it wasn't much more than that.
3.
I did predict 5-3, but it should have been like 13-11 or something, had it been coached normally.
Oh,
so
I was expecting a safety. I definitely was thinking that was going to happen.
Well, what I thought was going to happen happened, and let me explain what's wrong with a calm Ivy League guy who is a panicker at heart. It's 4th and half a yard. If we don't get it now in this weather, we're never going to get it. We're never going to get into a position where we can get rolling. We got to control the ball because we give it to them and they're going to score because they're a better team than we are. Everything is really messed up mentally on this team. Fair question here. Thoughts on Shedeur's footwork? It needs work. you can see that he's not a mover. He's not a shaker and mover kind of guy. And I think the good idea of rolling him out, it is a good idea because he's very accurate. He, as far as comparative athletes who are playing quarterback in the NFL, he's not comfortable in the pocket at this point, but he's not elusive and fast. So he's kind of in no man's land right now. And this is where coaching, offensive coordination, and all of these things, you either make the player the best you can make them under the circumstances, or you just end up DTRing them, putting them out there on the field to play a system that they have no business playing and getting them crushed and ruining their mental process. I think that, my feeling on Shadour's footwork is that when he gets his shoulders straight to the line of scrimmage and he's looking at his target, everything flows well. The way he throws the ball, the touch on the ball, all of that. The problem is if you don't roll him out right away, what he reminds me of is kind of like a Mazda GLC. It just doesn't have acceleration. If you put him back in the pocket and he's got to make a twitchy escape, it's one thing that you saw that Brock Purdy, who's not the fastest man in the world, had the ability to do, which things are closing in on him. He makes a little quick step and gets out of the way. Shador, unfortunately, does not have a 0 to 60 number attributed to him. Well, so he does not have fast acceleration to escape trouble.
I'll agree with that, but the comparing Purdy and Shador, there's an experience level there too. So Purdy's going to know that little bit quicker that he needs to get out of it than Shador is, and I think that's part of it as well. I mean, but he's not not going to blind anybody with speed. He ain't Randall Cunningham back there or Michael Vick,
right? So,
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. You have to set up a system for a guy like Shador to succeed. If that's what you're shooting for, you have to have wide receivers who can shake their coverage, and you have to get reps with those wide receivers and be able to, and just like what Shador was saying, but maybe I'm saying it a little more clearly as far as, because he's up there trying to speak extemporaneously, and I'm here speaking extemporaneously after having watched what he had to say and having watched the game. My feeling is that the communication that is developed between quarterbacks and receivers has a lot to do with how effective they are and how new guys who come to good teams get brought into the fold much better and smoothly because the other guys clue them in. And here's what you need to do to succeed. If you want to see the ball from Josh Allen, if you want to see the ball from Patrick Mahomes, here's the things you need to do. And this is what Patrick Mahomes does the best. And you got to come back toward him, or you got to know that he's got his eyes on you. He sees what you're doing. And if you break into an open part of the field, you're going to see the ball. There's a lot that goes down through time, practice, effort, but you got to have the right players. And you can't put a bunch of practice squad receivers on the field without a leader. And when the only guy who is supposedly the leader of the wide receivers is rebellious and is creating a ruckus and is not trying and has likely gambled your season away.
Wow.
Believe me, there's nobody on the sideline going up to Jerry Jeudy asking him, "Hey, Jerry, what do I need to do?" Because they don't want to deal with the guy because they know he's bad news. They knew he was bad news in Denver. This is not news. And, again, yes, the footwork and pocket, it is a teachable skill, but and that's what I'm saying too, Alistair. Yes. As far as, but no, I would say Gabriel has a quicker first step. What I would say is that Shedeur has heavy feet. Maybe that's the best way of putting it. The thing is that Gabriel has lighter feet, but he's just as slow.
Well, he probably looks faster because his legs are moving faster because he's smaller.
Yeah, he's like
a little mouse going
like a hamster on the wheel, right?
Yeah.
But again, to me, the first thing you look at in the quarterback is not, and it's one of the reasons I was never completely sold on Lamar Jackson. It's like, yes, I'm in awe at what he could do as an athlete, but I was never convinced he was a good thrower.
Yeah,
good quarterbacks find ways of beating you.
If Shedeur had Lamar Jackson's foot speed and sense of open field, that would be amazing.
Well, and the thing that Shedeur will learn as he learns the receivers, and I'm hoping, and I'm really not even hoping at this point, I'm not even guessing. Shedeur is either going to be on the Browns next year or get moved, because whoever the new head coach and offensive coordinator are going to decide what type of football team they want the Cleveland Browns to be.
Yeah.
And they're not going to have Dee Podesta and that nonsense surrounding them. They have to make determinations based on what we have with Dillon Gabriel. And, do we try for another quarterback, or do we use our picks for wide receivers, offensive linemen? What do we do? How are we going to build the beast? It's hard to say, because we're still stuck in Stefanski land, and there is no advantage to firing Kevin Stefanski now, because everything is entrenched. I mean, the system is entrenched, good or bad, and these are the plays that the players know how to run.
Yeah, I mean, as far as wide receivers and offensive line, we seem to get these idiots from free agency at wide receiver, when it's much easier to get free agent offensive linemen and draft proper wide receivers through the draft. We go about ass backwards to get Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy.
And did you see that Elijah Moore was let go?
Yeah, I mean, we get all these dickheads,
but everywhere they go, I don't know why the Browns is like a magnet for bad apples. And Elijah Moore wasn't fast. He didn't have good hands, and he never knew where he was lining up or what pattern he's supposed to run. And we seem to have an affinity toward players like that.
And then when we draft wide receivers, we wait till the 4th round or the 3rd round, get Anthony fucking Schwartz and Antonio Callaway. I mean, just totally ass backwards.
Yeah. And, I don't really, again, to analyze wide receivers at this point, everybody would tell you if you're going to use a high pick, you're going to you're going to go for somebody who can go up and get the ball, especially if you're confident that you have a quarterback who can lay the ball out there. A much softer throw is what Shedeur has to offer. And but you're going to have to protect him, because he's a dead duck in the pocket. If you don't have receivers and a system that he is able to read quickly, he's going to be dead meat, because he just is not escapable. And it's such a bang bang game, the NFL, for me to analyze is, which one of these two quarterbacks, right now, I would say, I think that Shedeur has more promise than Dillon Gabriel does, but I'm not very well sold on either of them having a skill set of being able to come in and command a complex system that brings in new players and introduces more speed into the game. and it's going to be a trick. It's going to be a trick to replace Stefanski and all the new and put in a new system, but it's obviously necessary, and Stefanski knows it too. Because if he stands up there and says, "Well, I made a boo-boo by trying to hand the ball off to Fannin," then every single organization is going to go, "Well, God, he doesn't even stand behind himself. We can't hire him." Right now, Kevin is just trying to keep a look of self-assuredness so that he'll have a job next year.
Wow.
And I'm not sure at this point if he's going to.
Well, he's going to get paid like 2-3 years extra money anyway, so he can sit around and do nothing till 2027 if he wanted to. But anyway, Cavs.
Yep. We can move over and talk about them as well.
I'm just kidding. Well, I could get irate about them because the amazing thing about yesterday's game was they did not deserve to come back and win that game, and they didn't, but they nearly did, only because the Celtics were on a back-to-back and they got tired and they left their knee off of the Cavs' throat. Basically is what happened. But DeAndre Hunter, did you see his plus minus?
I don't need to.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you anyway because I have it here.
Sure.
Minus 31.
Amazing, huh?
Darius Garland. Now we know he's hurt. He's got the Brock Purdy toe or whatever he's got wrong with him. Minus 27 plus minus. Our starting lineup was bitch slapped by a bunch of middle-level Celtic players yesterday on a back-to-back.
Yep. Now, here's there's a lot I can say about this. First, we'll take it individually. DeAndre Hunter. He plays against his old team, the Atlanta Hawks. And he says, they all know that they can't stop me. and that kind of arrogance is the arrogance of a guy who's no longer a sixth-man bench player, but has become a starter. And he is so full of himself that I would put him on the bench right away. Oh. He's a more effective player. If he wants to be Donovan Mitchell, if he wants to keep throwing up threes for no apparent reason and not getting back on defense and reaching on defense and not moving his feet, then he might as well be a guy who is just a volume shooter off the bench. He might as well be a Karis LeVert guy because he's not helping the team in the capacity that he's in right now. And he's been a huge disappointment. And I think and the funny thing is, where the Cavaliers are at right now, there's a lot of reasons for what's going on, but scoring shouldn't be a problem for this team. And except that the way that they've done it, they were going to load their starting five and they're watering down every single one of them. They've totally confused Evan Mobley, whose confidence is all but gone, who actually played a pretty good game yesterday.
He had a decent game, but
I mean, compared to the ones he's had recently, yes.
Sam Hauser was blowing by people. I mean, how do you let that happen?
Well, Pritchard
Pritchard was on fire.
You're standing there and letting a guy face the basket. If you did the same thing with Sam Merrill, he would drill you for that. I mean, you're not even closing out on people.
But Pritchard got to the rim a lot. I mean, I can tell you how many 2-pointers he had.
Nobody's blocking shots. I think that, the fact that Jared Allen's hurt, that he's playing, that he's hurt, that he's playing, and he never gives full effort. I think the whole thing has fallen in, and the team isn't playing hard.
Okay. Pritchard was 15-22. Only 6 out of 11 on threes. So he was 9 out of 11 on twos. He was getting to the rack. I mean, it just shouldn't have happened.
Well, and what's hurting the Cavaliers right now, and Ron Shane
totally right, Ron.
brings up that the rotation is out of whack. All right. And you have to settle on a rotation, and Kenny Atkinson has made several mistakes. And again, I'm not going to blast Kenny Atkinson after having such a good season as he had last year, but there have been some things that obviously aren't the smartest things in the world. David Tlevsky saying that Garland's toe injury might be a season-long issue,
a lifetime issue.
Yeah, the fact is that he's wearing the same plate that Joe Burrow has in his shoe.
Oh.
Except it fits a hoof better than it does a basketball player.
It's Garland, yeah.
But not only that, Garland, along with the plate, has toe separators.
Oh, wow.
So somebody listened to the program and said, this guy's talking about orthotics. And it's like, yeah, I've used them my whole life, and I have horrible feet. I have size 13 double to 4E wide feet, and I have a pronation problem from hell. That means if this is my foot, it goes in this way and this way, and everything leans this way. And so I need something to straighten me out to make my heel strike proper. It also deals with the top of your foot, and there is something called a first ray cutout. And again, I know a lot about orthotics,
You
a lot
know more than you want to know about.
Yeah, because I've gone through so many different companies. I've worked personally with pedorthists, and trying to get what I needed to continue to play recreational sports without really messing myself up. And the first ray, that's where the thumb toe is. You can have different rays, different toes, if you will, of an orthotic that allow the toe, they cut it out so there's nothing there, so that particular toe can move more freely. And there's a lot of things they can do with orthotics. And my feeling is that his problem is a mechanical problem that he keeps repeating over and over, and he needs correction. Here's the problem with that, is that when you go into an orthotic, when you're not used to playing with an orthotic, it rebalances your foot and it hurts your legs. I don't mean like it makes you tear muscles or anything like that. You cannot wear them for long periods of time. If they were to prescribe Darius Garland a prescription orthotic based on his foot condition, he would have to wear those around during the course of the day, start wearing them 1 hour, then 2 hours, then 3 hours. And then you would start running small parts of the practice of them. It would take a while for him to get used to it. But he's a big investment for this team, and he is continually re-hurting this toe.
Oh, every game.
And it is a huge problem. And the orthotics that they make, there are many kinds of orthotics. There are the hard shell orthotics. Because of my weight, I needed to have something that was, and subortholin was the material that it was made out of, which is kind of like a form of PU, polyurethane. It's part of a family of things. And what they would do was really cool. They could actually heat the subortholin and keep building up the arch and keeping it high so it wouldn't flatten out. So they and through measurement, they can make sure that arch and everything and all the other curves that are in that orthotic can be maintained, even though the player, and of course they'd have multiple pairs for him, so they can actually be worked on while the other ones are being used. It's a fascinating science, and it's an art as much as it is a science. So I got off on a tangent, but I really believe that you're playing him a lot of minutes, and every time he hurts himself, he's stepping and jumping into the lane and landing. And when he lands, he's landing in a way that continues to irritate that toe. And there's a way around that, but it might take a while if they're listening. So Hunter would be great coming off the bench for scoring purposes, but he is of no help defensively. He may have a long wingspan, but he doesn't have the drive that is necessary. At 12-9 right now, Kenny Atkinson has stated the sky is not falling. However, the most recent quote from one of the Cavaliers players would say otherwise. First of all, Donovan Mitchell after the game would say nothing. He was silent. He was just silent. Here's what Evan Mobley says. We just got to bring it every time we step on the floor, every second of the game. We can't let up. He said after he had a 27-14 night.
Fuck me, we were down by 14 within about 3 minutes of the game starting.
Yeah, they weren't even ready to play. But now, here's the next quote. This is Jalen Tyson.
Okay.
We could sit here and say we're frustrated. We're all professionals here. We just got to do our job. Everybody's got to do their job, right? We see it. We talk about it over and over again. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And we just don't execute. So that's on us. And we got to find a way to win these games. So, and his bottom line quote that he said in the locker room after the game, we're not hungry enough.
Wow.
And I'll talk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's going to be changes come January in the trade deadline.
Oh, sure.
You know, there's going to be people going, and I can't see Hunter still being on a team playing like that.
Well, we're not hungry enough says so much, because why aren't we hungry? And the answer is a lazy person will be a lazy person and come out with excuses as to why being a lazy person is really not such a bad thing. When the team came out, I knew there were going to be some issues, because they said, the problem is we were running and ragged and all this, and by the time we got into the playoffs, we burned out. So, we're going to go easier in the beginning of the year and we'll be stronger at the end of the year. You don't control injuries, but mental toughness is not something you can just turn on and turn off.
Absolutely.
And we've got a bunch of players who are soft. And I've screamed about Darius Garland for 3 years now about not strengthening his body. He has not put muscle on. He has not done anything to condition himself. He keeps getting slapped around like a little child or a rag doll. When he goes in, gets hit in the face, he's just not resistant to the demands and rigors of NBA basketball. That's the first thing. The second thing is Evan Mobley was this modest guy, quiet guy, a guy who wanted to lead by example, and they threw I'm not going to use the word garland as in Darius, but a garland around his neck and shoulders, that he was the next appointed one.
Yeah.
And they started creating offensive sets where he would handle the ball. And, anybody with eyes can see he's not Giannis. He doesn't handle the ball that way. He dribbles the ball as high as my head. I mean, it's foolishness.
Higher than mine.
Yeah. It's foolishness. And, he's a really good player. Why does he have to be great? Why does he have to be MVP? Why does he have to be, it's like, can't he be like hundreds of other players in the history of the NBA who contributed to championship teams, who were really good players? Nobody's going to sit there and say that Kevin Love is like an all-time superstar. I mean, he was a star when he played for the Timberwolves, but he took a back seat when he came to Cleveland.
Yeah, he's not an all-time NBA player, but he is going to have his number up in the rafters of at least one arena, maybe two.
That's right. And he's already said that, if he does have a chance to get into the Hall of Fame, he's going to go in as a Cavalier. And there's a reason for that. And it's not because the Timberwolves suck or anything like that.
Because he won his championship in Cleveland.
He won a championship there. And he, if you remember, was the one of all people who, from pure effort, he wasn't a jump high, run fast guy, but him in the closing minute of the game, moving his feet to stay with Steph Curry to force him to throw up that long three that he missed. I'm like, that's effort. There's a guy, it's like they got the switch they wanted. The Warriors got the switch of Kevin on Steph.
That was the matchup they were looking for.
And he was moving around faster than like an epileptic howdy doody, keeping up, doing what he could. And he played great defense on that play. And that's what shut their water off. And that's the hunger that you need in the moment when the championship's on the line. It isn't like Donovan Mitchell scoring, 18 points in the fourth quarter. Sometimes it's as small a thing as what K-Love did, or not LeBron's magnificence that he did against the Pistons, scoring whatever it was 29 out of 30 points. And blowing them out of the playoffs. It was the shot block that he came out of nowhere. And those are the little things, and they're effort things. These are the things that make champions. It's the fighter who gets up off the canvas to win the championship, or has more left in the last 2-3 rounds than his opponent and wants it more. Who's willing to dig deeper? We've got a bunch of guys who just aren't willing to dig at all. And
not digging.
It's a bad combination. And even a young guy like Jalen Tyson knows that they're just not hungry enough. And why they're not hungry enough is a hell of an interesting question, because they never will be. If they were this close talent-wise to be able to play for a championship, if they were that close and they weren't hungry for that, then they're never going to be hungry. This is a bad pairing of players. And what Bronx said at the beginning of the show is totally true. When they can come out, the Celtics, with a ragtag team on the back-to-back without their leading guys,
Sam Hauser and Jordan Walsh. I mean, Jordan Walsh was like Uncle Fester out there, and he was kicking our ass. So
yeah, it's just embarrassing. That's the problem with the Cavaliers, and I'm getting a lot of flack and blowback from what I'm posting about the Cavs, because I'm notoriously a Browns pregame, postgame kind of program here. But it's obvious to me that there are a few mistakes here that are being made that I'm not going to get into the players' heads, but just from a coaching perspective and an organizational perspective. Lonzo Ball was a mistake. All right. Yeah. Lonzo Ball can't play. Not in the system that Kenny Atkinson is running. He's heavy-legged. He's had too many leg surgeries, and he can't shoot the ball. And for a team that wants to throw up a high percentage of three-point shots, letting Lonzo Ball fire the ball up from out there, you might as well have a pitcher come out and wind up and try to throw it in the hoop, because there's no arc on the shot. There's no touch on the shot. It either, if it goes in, it's straight in, swish, but there's never a shooter's bounce in that guy's shot. And there never has been since he's played in the league.
I totally agree with that, but that doesn't explain last night because he was rested,
Well,
I'm just putting that out there because that's what happened yesterday.
I'm pointing out the problems like Dean Wade.
Exactly.
What does Dean Wade give you? If you have Dean Wade and Lonzo Ball on the floor at the same time, and you're wondering why you're getting run off the floor up and down, maybe it has to do with the speed and athletic issue. I mean, maybe it's athleticism and a lack thereof. Okay. You're asking people, and Dean Wade is shooting threes horribly because he's a standstill shooter. You know, in a perfect world, the Cavaliers play their best basketball and the ball's moving and hopping from hand to hand to hand.
And we've seen that.
And, you know, you have Sam Merrill who comes off the bench and he can bury the three just like Pritchard did. But it comes from ball movement. It comes from sharing the ball and playing the game. When I say up tempo, I mean in a passing capacity, not just running up and down like wild banshees up and down the court. And that's what's happening. And we're just being outrun by teams who have inferior lineups as far as credentials are concerned.
Correct.
But in a team concept, they're burying the Cavaliers, who are giving up incredible numbers and volumes of points. They're being cavalanched like they cavalanched people last year.
Yep.
And yep.
Anyway, the two guys on the Cavs last night that had plus minus in double digits, Naquan Tomlin plus 19,
Yep.
Tyrese Proctor plus 10.
Yep.
Nobody else was even close.
Yep. Now, the problem with Proctor is the game is fast for him and he needs minutes on the floor. He looks like his shot looks nice, not like Lonzo, whose shot has always looked broken. His shot looks nice, but the game's moving fast and he's rushing it a little bit.
Yep.
And he's young. And
he's like the Shador of the Cavaliers. You know, you got to give him time and
get up to speed.
And he'll get better. You
Yep,
know?
it's all getting him up to speed. But yeah, you can see that his shot, he has a nice release. He just needs to work on, like all the guys, getting the shot off faster. Look at Jalen Tyson. They told him, take the offseason and shoot those corner threes. But, you know, don't catch it down here and then bring it up and then shoot it because they'll close in on you. The game's too fast and you'll miss the shot. Instead, he's catching the ball and going immediately up into his shooting position, and his 3-point percentage has gone way up.
Yeah, he was well good yesterday. He was like 5 of 12 from 3.
The problem with him is that he doesn't have the size to and the speed to be a great offensive player or a great defensive player, but he brings a lot of effort to the floor, which is exactly what Naquan Tomlin does. I don't think anybody believes that Naquan knows exactly what he's doing yet. He's an awkward player who's all arms and legs, but I don't know if you watched the game in the third quarter, and 6 minutes into the third quarter, we got our first rebound.
Yeah, I know.
How is that fucking possible? And we put Tomlin in the game, and suddenly he gets rebounds. He's down getting offensive rebounds. He's getting off his feet, and he's, you know, finishing at the rim and doing the things that Dean Wade can't do. If you're going to be a second string player like Dean Wade, or because you're not going to get anything for these guys,
no,
you've got to play them where they're going to do you the most good. And I don't see a place for Lonzo Ball on the team because I think that CPJ and Proctor need the playing time, have better legs, more speed, and are better offensive players than Lonzo is.
Yeah, younger and fitter and all that bit. So, yeah. And I really want to see Struce back. And let's see what he has and what he
problem with that is he has an injury which is easily re-aggravated.
Yeah, I mean, Struce was feisty on defense, particularly in the playoffs, and he shut down a few people that nobody expected him to shut down.
But here's my final comments, and I'll get out of here. The too big thing doesn't work. All right.
Yeah.
And we're living in a time where Jared Allen and Evan Mobley will be outrun up and down the floor. And of the two, Evan Mobley's a much better defensive player and will play with more effort consistently than Jared Allen ever will. You can trade Jared Allen. He's a tradable commodity. You got to get a physical player who can get in there and bang people. And we got to start having a reputation of having an attitude out there because right now we're like the little kid that's getting picked on in the playground. It's not acceptable. So right off the bat, Jared Allen has to be traded. That's the first thing I believe. The second thing that I believe is you got to settle on a starting five that combines the ability to make shots, but also to have the ability to start their engines quick, come out of the gates quick, and play good defense from the beginning of the game. And that's why Jalen Tyson makes sense, because he's an effort guy, and he should be starting. And it's one of the reasons why Sam Merrill should be first guy off the bench.
Yeah.
And it's why DeAndre Hunter should be on the bench and should be going up against second unit players, and he can tear them up. And we'll get the goddamn 18 points a night out of him without having negative 31s at the end of games, because he's just not up to snuff with younger, faster players. He's getting blown off the floor.
Yeah, he wasn't playing in the much of the fourth quarter because they knew he was crap. Now, I don't know. He could be hurt. Maybe we'll find out that he's the next one to go down for 2 weeks.
Well, I think the mistake that was made was when the demands that he was going to become a starting player, and Kenny caved into it. I think that was a huge mistake, and I think that they just need to get they got to figure out what the rotations are. Tomlin needs to get more time on the floor because he is a guy who is just an energy guy who can make things happen in bursts and could be a real pest. And he needs to work on his perimeter shot. There's a lot of things he needs to work on, but he's got effort. And what I'm concerned about is, as skilled as Darius Garland is, he's not tough-minded at all.
Well, the sad thing is that the Cavs were favored by 7, and they looked like the underdogs by 7 in that game.
Yeah.
So
no doubt.
I don't know what the odd line is for tonight's game, but if the Cavs are favored at all, I mean, you want to take Indiana in the points. I mean, Jesus, based on last night.
Yeah,
back to back.
And they're in a bad place. They're doubting themselves on top of it all.
Yeah.
I got to get out of here and do my thing.
Another hour and 17-minute program, people.
There you go. Tony, thank you. Moose, thank you.
We love
and let's see what happens with the Browns this week. And going in against another losing kind of team. We'll see what happens. And as far as the Cavaliers, they got to wake up. And it's got to start with the head coach. Kenny has got to take charge in this thing and say to the players, I can't start you. I can't give you starting minutes if you're not giving me starters effort.
Yeah.
And sit down. You got to get the respect of the players. And at this point, I know that he's trying to nurture guys, but reward the guys who are paying you back is what it amounts to. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I will be back again on Friday. Until then, hasta la vista, Pastor Heads. Good night.